We have some big news in the credit card world. JPMorgan Chase is reportedly close to taking over the Apple Card from Goldman Sachs. If you haven't been following the story, Goldman has been trying to leave their partnership with Apple after losing billions of dollars, and now it looks like Chase is stepping in. Now, longtime viewers of my channel might remember about 8 months ago I made a video called 5 Reasons You Should Avoid the Apple Card in 2024, and most of those reasons still hold true. But if Chase takes over, things could look very different. So in this video, I'll walk you through what's happening with the Apple Card, why Goldman is leaving, what the card currently offers, and most importantly, what I'd like to see Chase do if they take over. Let's get right into it. Starting with the news, here's what's happening. Multiple credible sources, including the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg, are reporting that Goldman Sachs is officially winding down its consumer partnership with the Apple Card. Goldman has reportedly lost over $6 billion on the card since its launch in 2019. A big reason for those losses is that a surprisingly high percentage of Apple Card users are subprime borrowers, meaning people with lower credit scores and a history of late payments or other risky habits. In fact, roughly 1/3 have credit scores under 660. That's actually higher than the number of subprime borrowers at Capital One, which is known for catering to subprime borrowers. On top of that, Apple insisted on a no late fee policy, which wiped out a major source of revenue most banks rely on. Normally, if a credit card user doesn't pay their balance on time, they get hit with a late fee. With the Apple Card, Goldman missed out on that. So combine those issues with rising delinquencies, and it's clear why Goldman wanted out. Now, Chase has emerged as the frontrunner to take over. And it makes sense. Chase already has one of the largest credit card portfolios in the world, with the infrastructure to handle millions of Apple Card users. Reports say Apple has even called Chase their preferred choice to replace Goldman. Another interesting piece of news here, Visa has reportedly offered Apple a massive incentive to switch the Apple Card away from MasterCard. Since most Chase cards already run on Visa, that change would make a lot of sense. And if that happens, it could open the door to using the Apple Card at places like Costco, which currently doesn't accept MasterCard. Now, with all of that being said, nothing is official yet, but all signs are pointing to Chase becoming the new Apple Card issuer, hopefully with some notable changes to how the card works. Now, before we talk about what Chase might do with it, let's quickly go over what the Apple Card looks like today. It's a no annual fee credit card that earns 3% back on Apple purchases and select merchants like Uber, Uber Eats, and a handful of other retailers. It earns 2% back on everything else when you use Apple Pay, and just 1% back if you swipe the physical titanium card. It also has no foreign transaction fees, integrates seamlessly with the Apple Wallet ecosystem, and lets you choose between earning daily cash back or automatically saving it in Apple's high-yield savings account. On paper, that's not bad. It's essentially a 2% catch-all card if you're always paying with Apple Pay, with a few sleek Apple features on top. But in reality, most of the issues I pointed out in my first Apple Card video are still true. First, the physical card itself is almost useless. Apple marketed the titanium design as this premium, futuristic card, but if you actually take it out of your wallet, you're only earning 1% back, something almost any no annual fee card can beat. Second, there's no welcome bonus. Most credit cards today, even ones with no annual fee, give you some type of sign-up offer as an initial incentive. The Apple Card never has, which means you're missing out on hundreds of dollars in value. Third, the rewards are locked into Apple's ecosystem. You're limited to Apple Cash, paying off your balance as a statement credit, or their savings account. That's fine if you just want easy cash back or a straightforward way to save, but it's not flexible. You can't transfer to travel partners or pair it with other higher tier cards for outsized value like you can with Chase, Amex, or Citi points. Fourth, while the wallet app is clean and does a nice job educating beginners, it's still limiting if you're someone who uses multiple cards to maximize rewards. It's gotten better than it was when I made my last video, but it's still not on the same level as a full points ecosystem. And finally, Apple and Goldman were approving a lot of subprime borrowers. That's not necessarily bad for helping people build credit, but it just shows that this card really wasn't built for people trying to maximize rewards. So overall, the Apple Card has always been flashy, but not powerful. It looks good, it's easy to use, but compared to other options, it just hasn't been a competitive card for people who are serious about credit card rewards. Now let's talk about what could happen if Chase takes over, because this is where the Apple Card could finally go from underwhelming to actually competitive. First, I'd love to see Chase keep the 2% back with Apple Pay, but instead of locking it into Apple Cash, let it earn Chase Ultimate Rewards points. That would be a game changer, since you could then redeem those points through the Sapphire Preferred or Reserve for more value, or transfer to travel partners like Hyatt or United. If that happens, the Apple Card could even replace the Freedom Unlimited in the popular Chase Trifecta. On top of that, Chase brings the best suite of protections in the credit card game. Things like travel insurance, purchase protection, extended warranty, and even primary rental car coverage on some cards. So even if some of those protections were added, it would be a major upgrade. Now, here are a few things I'd personally like to see Chase add. A real welcome bonus. Even something small like 20,000 points after spending $500 would instantly make this card more appealing. Better everyday categories for things like dining, groceries, or gas, and no longer restricting the 2% category to just Apple Pay. So being able to use the physical titanium card to earn 2% as well. And finally, better Apple Wallet integration across all Chase cards. Apple and Goldman did a great job with the Wallet app experience. However, I want to see a more robust way to track your rewards if you use multiple credit cards. If Chase is able to implement some of these changes while combining Apple's sleek user experience with the power of Ultimate Rewards, this card could go from one of the most overrated to one of the most exciting credit cards out there. So to wrap it up, right now, the Apple Card is still the same flashy but limited product I told you to avoid 8 months ago. But if Chase really does take over, this could mark a massive shift in the credit card space. We're talking about potentially turning a card that's basically just Apple Cash into a fully fledged Chase Ultimate Rewards earner. That would not only make the Apple Card worth considering, it could actually shake up the entire Chase lineup. Imagine being able to tap your iPhone anywhere using the Apple Card and earn points you can transfer to airlines and hotels. That's the type of change that could take this card from an afterthought to a serious contender. Personally, I'd love to see it stay simple. 2% back with Apple Pay, Ultimate Rewards points instead of Apple Cash, and a real welcome bonus. Even just that combo alone would make this card way better than what it is today. Let me know in the comments, do you have the Apple Card? Would you actually apply for an Apple Card if Chase issued it? Or would you rather see someone else like maybe American Express take it over? And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for more credit card updates, reviews, and strategies. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.